Ow.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Nightly Grind. Today is April 14th, 2017. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but I think it's the 14th.
Yeah,
It is
it
good.
is.
Okay, good.
Maybe.
So we'll jump right into it. We missed last week because it was a game night, so we have 2 weeks worth of news to discuss. And I think this was 2 weeks ago that Microsoft revealed some of the info on Project Scorpion, or Scopio, I'm sorry, Scorpio, which is their new Xbox system that's sort of going to compete with the PS4 Pro. So I'll compare it to that. The CPU still 8 cores, similar to the PS4 Pro, but it'll be 2.3 gigahertz versus 2.1. The GPU is going to be clocked at 1172 megahertz versus 911 on the PS4 Pro. 12 gigabytes of RAM, and 8 gigabytes of that is for games, which means that there's 4 full gigabytes for the OS,
And also got to
which
remember, it's now GDDR5.
and now GDR5 as well. So 4 gigabytes specifically for the OS, which makes people think that it's going to be able to display 4K, the desktop or whatever the dashboard natively rather than being upscaled. The PS4 Pro has 8 gigabytes, 5 of that is for games. So they're upping the RAM significantly. The bandwidth is faster. It's going to have 4K UHD Blu-ray versus just regular Blu-ray on the PS4 Pro. And some of the more nuts and bolts of it, they integrated DirectX 12 directly into the GPU command processor. So the draw call instructions on the CPU that would typically require like thousands of instructions are now reduced to just 11 instructions. They said that the custom hardware alteration should drop CPU rendering workload by half on titles that are built on DirectX 12, which is crazy. Compute power on the Scorpio GPU is rated at 6 teraflops compared to 4.2 on the PS4 Pro. They did show off running Forza 6. Shit, I just lost it. They were running Forza 6 at 4K, 60 frames per second, pretty much effortlessly. They were averaging between 50 and 70% GPU utilization. And that's on a direct Xbox One port. So there's room to grow, especially when designing specifically for this system. So it looks like this is going to be a big competitor as far as performance is concerned with the PS4 Pro. It's kind of interesting. Any thoughts?
It's a console. Who cares?
Moving on.
They did their best.
Yeah, they tried. I mean, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty beefy. Something that I saw earlier, I think it was this week, or maybe it was last week, was that the gaming payment processor, I think it's Xzolla is how it's pronounced, XSOLLA. I think it's Xzolla. They have started adding an 18% tip to all their payments by default. So this is through Twitch, Steam, Ubisoft, Nexon, a whole bunch of other companies you can utilize this payment company through, and it was ticked off by default an 18% tip to the company, which their sole job is the payment process. And I did see somebody say that they had a reoccurring Twitch payment for somebody's subscription, and they automatically added it to that. So it's not like they even okayed that tip. It was a reoccurring thing that they added it to after they had already started the reoccurring process. So it's some super shady stuff going on. I haven't heard anything else other than the initial. Be careful.
That's why you got to read the terms of service.
Yeah.
I read a little bit more into it that they're working with the sellers and everything, that they have to now contact them to turn it off.
The company themselves.
Yeah, they have to contact them.
So they're not going to turn it off. They're going to require them to tell them to turn it off.
Because they're saying like you got to yell at them for that. Because other services have turned it off by default. Now it's no longer default, but you can turn it back on. But they said like other companies that do use it will have to say like, hey, no, fuck off.
We don't want this.
We don't like this at all.
That's a terrible system.
Well, like you said, their sole purpose is to sell the game, like, or not sell, but to do the transaction.
Right.
So why are you taking 18%?
That's their business model. Yeah.
You're already getting a percentage by like 5% for the system setup, and they don't even have to touch anything. Once it's set up, it's basically done.
Yeah.
The only
And
thing they would probably have to do is
Customer
update.
support.
Yeah,
18%
customer support.
sounds like a lot of like a big tip on that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think even credit cards charge that much, do they?
I have no idea.
Process
You mean like
regular
interest
credit-
or processing? Yeah, I don't think it's
No,
that much for processing. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
2%, 3%, I think.
18 is a lot.
Yeah. And if you think like $60 game, 18%.
If that's on every Twitch subscription, that's a quarter essentially for every time they do a Twitch subscription. That adds up very quickly.
Yes, it does.
It's super shady.
It's not exactly pennies, is it?
No.
And it
quarters.
comes up as like gratitude on your receipt too.
Yeah, it's a separate charge. It'll come up as a separate charge if you need to look for it on your credit card or whatever, your debit card or whatever. You'll have your $4.99 from Twitch, and then in addition to that will be your 25-cent tip.
So they actually say, the one report I was reading, they say to watch your receipt, because if you do get that, you need to contact either the company you bought from or contact Xsola or whatever.
So they can keep telling you to call the other person. You got to call the game company. No, you got to call them.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It'd be 90 cents. It would be 90 cents on $5. That's way more. Yeah, almost $1 for an 18% tip on a $50 game. That's $9. You're tipping them $9 if you buy a game with it. That's crazy.
I
Who are
would
we
think
tipping?
that
The
Xsola.
payment processor.
And
Xsola.
Shadow joins the conversation.
I would think that
Long
that
day at work, Shadow.
big time names like Steam and stuff would actually go and hurry up and shut that off before
I would imagine. Yeah.
If I read, Steam already has.
they don't want to
Yeah.
lose credibility like that.
Steam
I
already
wonder if
has
Twitch has.
because of that. Twitch, I don't know if they have or not.
Yeah, I couldn't find any additional information. All I found was the original post I saw on Reddit about it. People were freaking out, obviously, because it's ridiculous. But yeah, almost $1 tip if you're only doing a Twitch subscription. It's crazy.
Stupido.
$9 for a $50 game. That's crazy.
That's how much state tax in this
So
state.
that 18%. That's a huge number.
I thought Maryland was
Can-
fucking rat bastards.
Can I write that off on my
I think
taxes?
it's 8
Is it-
1/4 for taxes in New York.
I'm donating 18% of the game money I just did. Yeah.
It's twice my sales tax.
What is the donation for?
It's
I
just a
mean,
tip.
like, I'd be
It's a tip.
rhetorical.
It's a
just saying,
gratitude.
you know,
It's
It's
an
thank
it's
you for
automatic gratitude.
processing our payment.
fuck you.
Like they make money already doing this. They have a deal between
That's
Steam
exactly
and
what
themselves
their
and Twitch and
job
themselves.
is.
Yeah, it's their job is to do that, and it's automatically checked off as a tip, and the percentage is put in as you go to do the payment. So you could turn it off, but you would have to notice that it's there to be able to do it.
And the only way to turn it off is contacting the company. There's actually no option for you to turn it off.
I'm sure.
On
Well, I
your
would
end.
imagine
There's
probably
gotta
is
be an
something there
option.
is. Yeah.
There's got to
But
be
like
an
on the
option.
Twitch subscriptions, you're automatically doing. You're not even going into the website. It's reoccurring on its own automatically. And if that's ending up in there, you've never even had the chance to agree to that tip. It's just crazy.
She's cray.
It really is.
If you've never had the chance to agree with it, then you might have suit for a lawsuit against
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
because that's money you're being charged without actually having any wherewithal.
Terms
why
of
you're being
service.
charged.
They've never said yes. I'd like to pay you a tip.
Yeah.
Terms of service.
Yeah.
Terms of service. There it
Whether
is.
you read them or not, if you agree to
We-
them,
Probably
Yeah, that's
in
a
we-
difference.
We,
That's a
the
different
company,
situation.
reserve the right to change the terms of these servers anytime we see fit.
with or without
But-
notification.
Yeah, but see, there's still going to be a line of that where if there's going to be a change on that, they usually have to notify you that there is a change in the terms of service.
And
Especially
just
when
because
it
something's
involves
in
money.
the terms of service doesn't mean it's legal.
Yeah, that's
You can
there's
say,
a
but in the
lot
terms of service, you're now my slave forever.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
legal.
lot of terms of service are not as hard boiled as a lot of people have thought. A lot of late case law lately has been because of people you basically trying to abuse the fuck out of it, and the aspect nobody reads them.
Wait,
They are not
reading?
legally binding in that case. So if like there was
So if it went to the Supreme Court,
I don't think it would get to the Supreme Court.
They probably wouldn't even care. Yeah.
There's been a lot of Steam has had a lot of issues with these because there's a lot of NLicer user agreements that you actually have to sign to when you download or get into play any games on Steam now that are usually by the company, and there's terms of service inside there that says you cannot get a refund for this game. A lot of what is it called? The green light games and stuff like that have that because they're basically trying to make it so quote unquote legally you cannot refund the game. And Steam just basically laughed at them and said, "Go fuck yourself." If the customer wants to return the game, they have every right to return the game. So it's
Steam fighting for the people.
No, Steam just realizing that the
Fighting
green
their own-
light
for their own
service is
ass. Their interest is in themselves.
Man, can't give Steam credit for anything.
but there's a lot there. They're not as legally binding as they used to be, just for the fact that it's not really a contract because there's not a third party there to nearly know. It's a variable. There's going to be probably lawsuits about this, especially if it's people getting charged $18.
18%.
I'm just saying. Well,
If you're spending $100 on something, yeah.
If it's for nickeling and diming, there's a different, like if it was like 10 cents, 5 cents, something cheap, there may be a little bit, but for
what's 18% of like a penny? Well, you
18%
gotta
of a
think
penny
about
would
it.
be-
I've seen some games on Steam go for a penny.
would be
Yeah.
one.
See, the main argument will be though, in the end of the day, why is this company charging us for something that there's 100 other companies online that would do the same exact service and not charge the gratuity, for a mediator between two payment sources. So they're kind of adding in a service that is not needed for the sole purpose of basically grifting. So I there's going to probably be some really interesting legal stuff going on with this.
I think it's a dangerous road to go down. And
We
whoever
thought
made
we'd
that
give it a go.
decision, whoever made the decision was really dumb.
Yeah, and it was probably one of those things where at the end of the day, nothing might come from it, and they were just kind of, maybe people won't notice for 6 months, and we'll have like that perfect scheme of billions of dollars off of that 18%. But it's at that point, it's one of those things where it's like it does fall in the aspect of you should have known better or you should have read the fine print. But the same exact token, I think at the end of the day, the legal aspect is going to be the person who paid should have realized. Anybody who automatically had the service, like it upgraded to it, they'll probably get their money back. Anybody who went through, did everything, and then checked the boxes at the end that says I do agree and all that stuff, then they're probably going to end up being, well, you kind of did it, and then they're going to look at the company and go, you can't do this anymore because you're kind of skirting the law a little bit too much. So
Yeah.
that or the consumers will just walk away and they're not going to buy it for that service. And I can't
Potentially,
see
they're pretty
Amazon-
big. I mean, I see them, all over the place.
Yeah, but like either way,
You could always use PayPal or something like that too. I mean, it's
Exactly.
same idea.
Exactly. So they're just going to get they'll get cut out of the market that way, and they'll have to change their business. So
Yeah. So up next, let me put up our picture. Is a remembrance of the Nintendo NES Classic Edition. They have discontinued the NES Classic Edition, and the last shipments will be going out to retailers throughout this month, 6 months after launch. I have yet to find one to buy. Has anybody ever seen one for sale?
Nope.
Other than triple the price or whatever. I see them on Amazon all the time for like $170.
I haven't seen a classic, but I have the original.
That doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
So after seeing this, I decided to dive into the Raspberry Pi world, and I will be
break the law.
making a retro. I ordered all my pieces; they should be here tomorrow. I even got free one-day shipping. But I can't
You're
believe
gonna
it.
fuck up, aren't you, buddy?
I guess there was one place that said they were ending sale for this year, which means that maybe they're bringing it back for next holiday season. But
By adding 20 more games.
yeah, I
and
wonder
only
how many
2
they
in
actually
stock.
made. Because people were looking for these all over the place, and they're never for sale
It's the
anywhere.
same exact thing. For the same price, you could get an emulator and get the entire Nintendo catalog. up until like the N64 and over the N64 actually.
That's
So,
what the Raspberry Pi is.
Yeah, that's
You
what I
go-
mean.
You
So
can go further.
I mean, I
Raspberry
can
Pi's
see.
gotten
I
powerful
clearly
now.
I saw the benefit in paying for this version. It is cheaper for one, but it's also just plug and play. You plug it in and it works. You don't have to do you don't have to upload all the programs and all that stuff and put it together. And
You make it sound like it's hard.
well, it's a few hours of work at the most.
not even.
So I can see I can see the benefit of just paying for it, and it's cheaper. That's the big thing. I mean, you have to buy a case for the Raspberry Pi and controllers and all the extra shit too.
How much is Nintendo
no.
Classic? How much
Yanni's
is the,
Classic was $50.
$50, okay. Let's see. A combo set
Big
for Raspberry Pi
stimator.
3 goes for around $40, and that's a case, memory stick, and the Raspberry Pi itself.
$40 will get you the Raspberry Pi and a power supply. For some sort of memory, I got the high
Power
capacity.
What
Yeah, power
Raspberry
supply.
Pi did you get?
Well, you have to get it's just a little
It's a
dinky.
It's a cell phone charging cable.
It's 30. The Raspberry Pi by itself naked is $35. That's the base price.
Where are you looking?
Either way, it doesn't.
On Amazon. That's the
at
price
the end
anywhere.
of the day, it doesn't really matter. The key thing is that you can spend $50 for that if you can find it, and get
Yeah.
like 40 games, or you can get a Raspberry Pi and pretty much have every
And have
classic
Super
game for
Nintendo
every
and
Sega Genesis, and
Nintendo
Sega CD,
64.
I was gonna
Right.
say I
even
think it
maybe
has
PlayStation
enough.
games.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you
it has
can do
enough
PlayStation.
horsepower to do
It's
PlayStation.
gonna be it's gonna be hurting trying to run it, but it can do it.
I don't think
think
so.
it'll hurt much.
It'll be
I
fine.
think it starts getting warm is part of
If
the
it-
issue.
What?
It starts getting warm. The system starts getting warm.
So does a PlayStation 4. So does a computer.
There's
Everything
no
gets
active
warm.
cooling.
Here's my
Well,
Pi.
you could do active cooling, but
A PS1.
yeah.
I don't think.
You're not going to be, dude. The PS1 was like 32x. All right, you're not dealing with massive amounts of fucking. So I mean, it's
Phone's all
literally,
freaking out. I can't do it. PS1. It's gonna burn out. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, 6 months after launch, they discontinue it. It's confusing at best.
It's Nintendo,
That's true.
They can't even keep the Switch in stock.
and there's been so many more issues with the Switch because it's made so cheaply.
I saw. Speaking of the Switch, I saw they sold 906,000 of them in the first month, first 28 days or something like that, and they sold 910 or 920,000 copies of Breath of the Wild. So they sold more copies of Breath of the Wild in North America than they sold Switches.
That's because there's
And
at
that's
least
Switch
10,000
versions of it.
grandmas that bought it for their kids and went, "You don't have that?"
Or it's people that just bought it like the collector's edition and haven't had a chance to buy the Switch because they can't find them anywhere. That's my guess.
Or the bundled edition where you get like the strategy guide.
So I can
and
just
save
look at
$10
my at the case for my game.
Or there's
until,
like 10,000 copies of Zelda up on eBay right now where people are really trying to sell that.
Or
Yeah.
people
Although
that
they probably are.
They weren't done with it yet, so they need a new copy.
Oh, that's right. You can only have one save file. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Maybe.
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild has one save file. That's it. People found out.
Gee,
the
I've
hard
never
way.
How
I've
nice
never
is
had
that?
a need for more than one save file personally.
No, you
All the other
always want
Zeldas always
two.
had three.
I've
They
never
always
had
had
a-
three.
You
I've
always
never had a
want
need for more
at
than one.
least two.
One is your backup. The one is your current.
Yep.
You
But
always keep the backup.
Even if I have a backup, I've never used it once in my life.
You keep the
You don't-
backup at certain major points. Just, in
Just
case you
because you're
fuck up.
OCD about your backup
No,
save doesn't
no,
mean you
no,
need it.
no, no.
Games are unforgiving. If you go past a certain point, you can't go back, man.
You see, it's no. I don't even play RPGs anymore. But you put like 80 hours into a fucking game and then have a corrupted file, and then you realize, guess what? You're starting from fucking scratch.
Mhm.
All right, that's why you have a backup for games that take a shit ton of time to play. So you always have a backup file.
Nonetheless, yeah, I thought that
Oh,
was
no,
funny
no,
that
he's not a true
they
gamer.
sold more copies of the game, and that's just Nintendo Switch copies, not because obviously you can buy it on the Wii as well. But more copies for the Nintendo Switch than they've sold Nintendo Switches, and I think they sold. So if they sold like 920,000, I think they sold 1.3 million total copies. So they didn't sell that many for the Wii U. which isn't unsurprising because I guess probably a lot of Wii U people bought the Switch already.
Yeah, considering most of the people that have the Wii U are fanboys.
Yeah, because it's kind of shitty.
It's Nintendo, so
I want one.
A Wii U or a Switch?
Switch.
Oh, okay. On other
I'm
Nintendo news, Pokemon Go apparently has 65 million monthly users still. I'm one of them. I turn it on once. I turn it on once a day to catch my Pokemon and get my bonuses.
And he fails every day.
And currently there's an Easter event. Double XP, lucky eggs are half price, and you get more Pokemon from a 2-kilometer egg until April 20th. I hatched a 2-kilometer egg today.
Or you hatched one today. I haven't hatched one today, but from my understanding, it's not more. It's just rarer Pokemon.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
well, it's like a greater
starters and
selection
whatnot.
is how I understood it. I think it's egg centered because I got an Execute out of mine.
Oh,
So
well.
I'm assuming it's Easter themed, probably.
From my
once.
understanding, from what I read, and again, I haven't hatched any eggs yet because I was stupid and didn't realize this event was going on, so I threw a 10K in yesterday.
Good job, Saul. Get running,
Time to
go,
buy.
go.
Time to buy a
Oh my
hatcher.
god. Time to buy more incubators, I tell you. But no, from my understanding, 2K eggs you can actually hatch like Snorlaxes and Lapras and stuff like that. From there's
But
a
can you
possibility
hatch
of hatching them from 2K eggs, from what I've heard.
That's very rare. Yeah.
I don't have any actual proof of that, and I don't know of anybody who's done it. But
Yeah.
this was speculation.
No, that'd be seriously rare.
So rare.
But yeah, 65 million people. That number really surprised me. That's a lot of freaking people playing it every month.
That's more than people subscribe to WoW.
you know how much money Nintendo makes off of that versus how much money Blizzard makes off Warcraft?
It's true.
Nintendo's making bank. That's all I
They're
know.
probably making good money off this though, for how much money they've put into it, especially.
Let's see, how many people are actually putting in at least, I'm guessing $10 a week. I know there's people that are dropping $10 a week.
A lot of them.
On
yeah.
Pokemon?
Yeah, on Pokemon.
How do you spend $10 a week?
How do you
Well,
spend
there's an egg
Lucky
event
eggs?
going on, and there's a lot of incubators out there.
the events that go on,
Incubators,
just the
yeah.
fact that you don't really think about it right off the bat.
People
It's a
in
mobile game.
I
Rural
don't think I've
areas
spent money on
that
it
don't
forever.
have Pokestops nearby can get balls.
Yeah, I've put in a few times for balls, just because I can only go to one a day. As I'm dropping Piper off at school, I pick up some balls.
It's all just caught on. It's all just caught on.
I pick up some balls while I'm dropping Piper off at school.
Does
Whoa,
Kim help you
dude,
pick up
dude.
balls?
I
She
think
does
that's
help.
against
She
the-
will sometimes.
I think that's
Sometimes
against the
I'll give it to
law.
Kim and she gets the balls for me.
Pokemon balls brought to you by Bone.
So be on the lookout for the Easter event.
They're not Poke eggs.
Poke eggs,
No, they're Pokeballs for Bone.
Pokeballs. Yeah. So this was kind of funny. This week there was a news article about Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic potentially getting a new a re-release or a new iteration of the game of some sort, and then the next day that was quickly squashed by another article. Apparently those people were working on old information, but it got the internet in all sorts of excitement about a new Knights of the Old Republic, which I was excited for. I would love to
love
see a
that
new
game,
Knights.
man.
I loved the first two of those.
Yeah,
Even the
first
second one when it was
fan-
broken, but
The first one was great, and the second one, the only reason it was bad is because it was unfinished.
they rushed
They,
it out
they
really
rushed it
fast.
out and
yeah.
released, and it was unfinished.
And there's
But,
a mod to fix a lot of the broken stuff in it. But yeah, I love those games. They were great. But yeah,
They're fantastic. I love that saddens me much because I'd love to see more KOTOR, but
and apparently I think one of the original writers was coming back to BioWare or something like that, which added fuel to the fire of sorts. But no, it's not going to happen. Sorry, Star Wars fans. But we will be watching the new Star Wars trailer in a little bit, which I have not seen yet.
Spoilers.
And this came from Saul. Final Fantasy XIV: Daddy of the Light is coming to Netflix when this fall. Final Fantasy XIV: Daddy of Light is
it's exactly what you think it is.
a
with the
live
title.
action
Terrible.
Japanese TV drama featuring Square Enix's Final Fantasy XIV, which will be coming to the US as well. Netflix picked up the show for international audiences, and Daddy of Light is expected to premiere worldwide this fall.
Why don't you talk about synapses?
I don't.
Come on, Saul.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Basically, it is a story about a father and son bonding over Final Fantasy XIV. And the son plays it, the dad picks it up, is all like, what is this? I don't know, let's try it out and play it and see if I can bond with my son. And so the dad starts playing it, and then the son ends up playing another character that helps him out, but the dad doesn't realize it's the son helping him. It's something along those lines. It's father-son bonding.
It's a Hallmark moment.
From my understanding, the U.S. version of it is actually going to be completely different.
Actually, that sounds pretty good, though.
Going to be a different cast, and
Oh,
it's
really?
coming out in April. And I believe they're doing an American version of it as well that comes out in the fall.
Wait,
So it's going to be
so-
basically done by Michael Bay. It's going to be nothing but explosions.
God damn.
and
They're gonna
Fuck
they're gonna
off.
reshoot
I
the
think-
whole show.
I
Wow,
think
that would be
it
serious.
it might just be that they're waiting that long to redub them, but I
Yeah, voice actors. Yeah.
No, keep it the same.
different.
The
It
intro
sounds
song
different.
was super cheesy.
It was really
Well,
cheesy.
It was
welcome to J.
awful.
Welcome to J dramas.
Not good.
It was bad.
That's a J drama for you. Pretty goddamn cheesy
It
intros.
was really bad.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll
No,
watch it. I mean, I'll give it a shot.
I
I'm
was
not gonna
interested
lie.
when I heard about it a few months ago, before Saul posted about it. I never watched J dramas. I could never get into them, but
And he's gone.
He froze.
looking into it, like, I'll give it a
Oh,
shot.
God.
You froze for a second.
That was really
How did
scary.
how did I freeze? How did I freeze?
You froze. And then you didn't hear anything else. Okay. But be on
Thumbs
the
up
lookout
for-
for that this fall, I guess.
Thumbs up. for
I'm
that.
sure we'll talk about it when it comes out too.
Oh boy.
So an Overwatch cheat maker has been ordered to pay $8.6 million in damages to Blizzard. Last summer, I don't know if we talked about this before, have
We
we?
talked about this 3 times already.
I don't think we have. I think you're lying. Last summer, Blizzard filed a lawsuit against a German cheat maker, program maker for, quote, copyright infringement, unfair competition, and violation of DMCA's anti-circumvention provision. California court has ordered Bossland, which is the name of the company, to pay $8.6 million. Blizzard argued that Bossland had, quote, reverse engineered and otherwise altered its game without permission, end quote. I think we talked about the League of Legends one, didn't we?
No, we went over this one because I remember Shadow went on a whole rant about it. Don't remember what the rant was
remember
about.
that
I
at all.
don't
I
remember.
know
All
that
I
they banned all the Korean or
that was like a month after fucking release.
did
But
they
they
ban
were-
all those? That was like 2 months ago.
Oh,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
always
that was
banning.
something else.
Well,
Yeah.
they keep doing
Yeah,
that.
that was
man.
different. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They do. They always do
That was
bans
the
now.
IP.
That was a
They
big
don't-
ban hammer
Changing
thing.
the IPs. Yeah.
Yeah, we were
They do.
wondering about PC bangs and how that worked.
I thought we said something about this. I don't remember. All I remember.
We talked
saying
about it, I
was
know, at
that,
least 2 times before this.
It doesn't surprise me. Blizzard goes after people, and they have no problem. They're unscrupulous. They will literally gut you.
They protect their IP.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They seriously do. So it's
Even-
they give
even
you
though
every.
most-
They
even
generally
though-
will work with modding the modding community really well. I mean, like especially what they've done with
Wow.
Warcraft. But
$8.6
if
billion in damages.
if you draw a line, or I mean, when Blizzard draws a line and says don't cross that line, if you cross that line, they will come after you with lawyers,
yeah.
Oh,
and then they'll make you pay.
they went after a few add-on makers because they bordered on the line, saying like, "Hey, calm down." The one guy, he was creating a voiced over quest log thing.
That's right. And
They stopped him.
like 2 days after he released it, it was completely done. And then they
No,
they
last
took it
time-
down.
Last I read, it wasn't completely done. He was releasing it in chapters.
Oh well, yeah, he did a huge chunk of it then. Yeah.
Yeah, and Blizzard said stop because it ruins the integrity of the story. Because some of it wasn't true because they were doing a little bit on how Diablo does the lore books. Like a little thing pops up, it talks about the lore. So basically, like you go to a new area, like Elwyn Forest goes on the lore. So some of it was not to how Blizzard wanted it. Some of it was fan based,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So it wasn't to the integrity of how Blizzard wanted it. So it's like you gotta stop. So maybe he's actually working. He's trying to contact Blizzard. From last for our thread I read, there's been no response or update from Blizzard, but he's trying to push them to actually put that in WoW. Like actually get.
I would think Blizzard will probably work with them, but Blizzard will do what Blizzard always does. The next major patch that comes out, they'll put the same thing in the game and pretty much use whatever he's done, put it as their own. I mean,
I'm more amazed. Gear Score was an add-on originally, and that got added to the game. Voice chat was a few add-ons that got added to the game, even though it's not used a lot anymore. What else was added?
It literally everything.
Quest Finder.
The entire UI is more everything. If you're a new Warcraft player, everything that makes the game easier to play was an add-on at some point in time.
But Blizzard only takes the working parts of that add-on, so that add-on still might exist because they did something different with it.
It might exist, but it doesn't. It's the meat and potatoes of it. Like for example, like with the DFR, with the Dungeon Finder system, and everything where it tells you loot tables and such. That's a complete. That's
Atlas loot.
Yeah, that's taken out of. It's just literally if there's anything in
paths
there that
they added recently, and the open all mail, I think they added recently to the normal game.
We're all freaking add-ons. A lot of your questing aspects and crafting stuff where you can craft heavily and stuff. That's all add-ons. The tracking, I think, that's inside the game for. Like whenever you mine materials and stuff like that, that's all. I mean, literally everything is on add-ons. If you played Vanilla WoW back when it was Vanilla WoW, you had no information whatsoever. You were literally blind and dumb, and if it was you had to have like a wiki open on the other monitor if you were lucky enough to have another monitor back then. To
alt tabbing once in a while.
Yeah.
Because either you get the add-on, was it the two big ones back in the day for questing was like Carbonite Quest and Quest something, Quest Helper or whatever. One of them ate up so much fucking RAM, and the other one was lightweight. And Carbonite, that's the one that I went with. It was amazing.
Yeah, Carbonite was the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyhow,
yeah, we got a little off track. That's okay. So speaking of other Blizzard, well, we're talking about Overwatch as well. There's a new Overwatch co-op mode, which is available now through May 1st, I believe. It's called Insurrection, right?
Sure.
Torn, we played it. Did you enjoy it?
I like it. I want to try the harder.
Yeah, I like it.
It's
pretty cool.
Oh, that's right. You played with us. It's a co-op mode where you fight against bots, and you have to capture a few points, and then you have to bring an objective to a door, and you do a few things like that. We played it on normal.
I'm assuming that's what we're playing this evening.
We couldn't find a fourth on hard.
It's only 4 people, so we can't do normal. We can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's like combining both their main modes into one game against
pretty
bots?
much.
The story is about.
It's a story-driven, yeah.
Yeah, it's a story-driven one. So
it's about Tracer's first assigned
mission.
You are stuck with four champions. You get Tracer, Reinhardt, Mercy, and Torbjorn. And that's it.
Yep.
That's who you have.
It's when Overwatch and Blackwatch were actually active.
So it's an interesting game mode, but you play it. You play it a couple times and you know what you're getting every time.
Well, that's why I want to play the harder difficulty.
Yeah. Right.
Well, we tried to play it on hard, but we couldn't get a fourth. There was no fourth person playing hard. Yeah.
Well, people are just probably farming the normal one to get as many chests as they can. So.
Yeah. It's fairly easy on normal. We never really had any trouble.
Except me exploding myself multiple times. Hey, I got that thing at the end. My nuke killed it and me. So.
Moving on. There was a new trailer for Star Wars Battlefront 2 that was released. Leaked this week. It was released later today, but I didn't have time to put it in. Doesn't really show much, anyways. But it does show clips of Rey, Kylo Ren, Yoda, and Darth Maul. And it looks like it's going to expand all eras of the movies, from what you can tell.
I'd hope so, because Yoda's dead in the current,
I thought Darth Maul survived even after being cut in half.
That's the rumor right now.
That's the expanded universe.
Yeah.
Which they haven't said is, so they have to actually bring it into a movie for it to be real.
The one thing I'm interested about the new Star Wars Battlefront is the fact that they have, I can't remember it was promised, but story mode will be in there.
Yeah,
it's gonna have a single player campaign.
Which,
because I think that's where they really messed up, is they didn't put the story mode.
It's not a huge deal
Doesn't
for
mean
me.
that it's gonna be. It doesn't mean that it's gonna be an actual story mode.
It better be.
I'm just saying, it
We'll
doesn't
see.
mean it's gonna be an extra story mode. It could
I
just
thought
be.
Dice was good at making story games.
I don't know about that.
They are.
They made
Dice
Mirror's
makes
Edge.
good. Dice makes very, very good first-person shooters. I don't know if the story is all that
They
great.
made Mirror's Edge.
I haven't played Battlefield 1 story yet. Maybe I should.
I don't
do
think
that.
many people have.
Yeah, maybe on
What's the
consoles,
point?
more people. I wonder if they have that information, the number of console players versus the number of PC players that do the single player. I know they talked about it.
I don't think it's as great as much anymore because, generally speaking, it would be more driven for single player when consoles didn't have internet access readily available to them.
Yeah.
Because that's how you had to sell the game. But since most consoles are now pretty much you're not getting anything out of them if you're not online with them.
There's still
They
a
don't have
good
really storyline.
percentage of people that don't have internet access on their consoles.
Yeah, but then you're not going to be buying a game that doesn't have. It's just
Right,
like I said,
yeah.
the games are not marketed really for their single player. They're marketed for their player versus player.
Absolutely, yeah. And people complain when they don't have single player, like with Battlefield or Battlefront.
People complain just to complain.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Some of us are only able to play single player.
Torn. Just making sure you're still over there, Torn.
Here's some YouTube news. In a recent blog post, it has been revealed that YouTube will not be putting ads on channels with fewer than 10,000 views. That's not videos with fewer than 10,000 views. That's channels that have fewer than 10,000 views. Some people think this is in response to the extremist channels that don't get banned right away. And there was a news article about it. I forget where recently they talked about it. Was it Wall Street Journal? I can't remember.
Washington Post, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was, but they talked about it. But apparently it had been in the works for a long time. So it's something to be. It's an interesting thing.
It's also to keep people who basically reshare the same videos from making money off of somebody else's stuff
Right.
too.
Make a quick buck and then get banned, and then do it again somewhere else and then get banned. So it's to all that rehosting issues, which is a problem, and people deserve money for their work rather than somebody else getting it.
What kind of grinds my gears is the fact that some of them actually don't get caught.
Well, some of them are probably working in cooperation, would be my guess, like with the movies especially. But I don't know. You'd have to ask YouTube.
Nah, that's a lot of work. I'd have to talk to like a bot for a while. Press 1 for this. Press 2 for that. Press 0 for this. What about the other blah? I don't know how to speak Spanish.
Yeah. At first, I thought that was going to be videos that had 10,000 views, which would have been fairly significant, especially for like more niche channels. But it's if the channel has fewer than 10,000 views, which makes sense, I think.
That's
That
not
makes
that
it a little
hard.
bit
Just
more clear cut.
Click the channel multiple times.
Doesn't work like that.
Bullshit. You can pay $5 to get channel views.
Audible has been testing has teased a new X-Files Cold Cases audiobook, and they're going to be utilizing the same actors for the characters in the book as did the original TV series. So you'll have all the actors doing their voices, or I guess narrating their voices in the book, which seems a pretty cool idea. I haven't listened to an audiobook in a long time, but that would make it a pretty nice one. Reminds me of World War Z. Anybody do that audiobook?
No.
It's a really
never
good
done-
audiobook.
Never done an audiobook in my life.
World War Z is an excellent audiobook for people who want to know. The unabridged version. It's very good. Anyways,
By Max Brooks.
written by Max Brooks, the son
And
of
Happens to
four-star?
be Mel Brooks' son.
There's actually an interesting story behind that because he was dyslexic when he was growing up, and so Mel Brooks got him audiobooks, which made him very interested in audiobooks, which made him want to do a really good one when he wrote a book, which is why this one's so good. And he didn't really care about the movie because the audiobook was sort of his pet project. Beauty and the Beast crossed the $1 billion threshold this week worldwide.
Yeah,
So-
Shadow.
It would have gone there so much faster if you had seen that movie.
Oh, I know. Right? Oh my God.
Still haven't seen
But
it.
Disney is freaking raking it in this year. How many movies have they had that have hit $1 billion thus far? Star Wars, this.
Oh, that's a given.
What their Marvel movies have hit $1 billion. Like
That's
they
a
are
given.
crushing it right now.
Everything
It's
Disney
also
does
listed
is
as the
money.
highest grossing live action musical ever.
Oh, interesting.
And don't they have like an actual
Because
huge...
that's such a fucking filled market.
Hey, they
My
beat
God.
Grease. You shut up.
La La Land was pretty good, but yeah, it wasn't a.
Oh my god, they beat Grease.
It
That is
wasn't a-
not saying something.
You know, when they win like 5 Academy Awards, Shadow, you're gonna be like, I could have seen that.
You're gonna go, what the fucking do? I don't give
I
a
have to
shit
go out
about
and rent
the
that
Academy
right now.
Awards.
Oh,
But the Beauty and the Beast news keeps coming in, and I'm loving it.
anyhow, Disney, I guess, has an actual lineup of a whole lot of live action. I think one of them's Lion King.
Lion King,
Oh,
Little
they're gonna beat
Mermaid.
this. They're gonna beat this like a
There
dead
you have
fucking
Cinderella.
horse.
Well, they did the Jungle Book, and the Jungle Book was good.
And they
I
did
finished it.
Cinderella a few years
Jungle
ago.
Book is
I saw
Jungle Book
Cinderella.
was
It was
amazing.
Cinderella was okay. It wasn't that good.
You're this.
Beauty and the Beast was very good. I actually enjoyed it. Except again, we talked about that. It was the mixing was weird on it.
If Disney's very good at one thing, Disney's very good at printing money. Disney always. It's
That's
Disney,
why our economy's in the garbage.
Disney
is-
machine, man.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're good at everything they
every
do.
few years, they would re-release the fucking classics on VHS special edition or DVD special edition,
And
and
they
charge
add
$20
extra
for it.
features.
You can't really do
And
that
people
anymore
would come in and buy that. Yeah, they can't do it
because
anymore.
it's all digital online now.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just like it never ceased to amaze me how I would see the same people coming in buy the classic version and then come in a month later and buy the special edition with the 15 minutes deleted scenes, which was literally just like credits, and it's just Disney just can do this. I mean, now that they've done the live action, I guarantee you'll see everything they've done come out in live action.
They're
You
talking.
know,
Oh yeah,
they
they
should.
It's already. They're already working on them all.
Yeah,
No,
it's
Disney's not the
They
only
should.
company that does kind of this stuff. I mean, like, look at game companies; they do the same exact thing.
You
But they
know,
do. It's not
Shadow-
like it's a bad movie. It's a good movie.
Shadow, since you didn't see the Beauty and the Beast and whatnot, or you haven't yet. They're not going to do a sequel, but they are talking about possibly doing a prequel or a spin-off, so you could actually watch them all together.
Oh, back to
row?
back.
Is it about Gaston?
You can redeem
Gaston.
yourself.
Gaston.
Huh?
Who's it about? Is it about the Beast?
They're just talking about it. They're in the
Maybe
works
her
right now.
Beauty, Belle's dad.
The Beauty, Belle.
Belle's dad when he's back in
Could be
Paris.
About the Beast when he turned. I mean,
Could it be?
That's true.
Could be about Gaston. Gustav.
Gaston.
Gaston. Yeah.
All right, that's enough
Gaston.
Beauty and the Beast. Ryzen 5 got released this week, and we got a bunch of benchmarks from various outlets. More or less, the 1600X has pretty much the same performance game-wise as the Intel 7600K, and roughly the same price. They're both around $240. So it's nice to see some real competition going on between AMD and Intel. They're both sort of fighting for that middle ground, which is awesome.
Right now, AMD only has the lead. Aside from gaming, is in the workbench area for media creating all that stuff. They destroy the i5 there,
Yeah.
but the i5 still has the upper hand. I think it was like 10% in single threading, so that the i5 still is the dominant one there for right now.
I saw the 7700K was doing significantly better, but that one's like $100 more, so it's hard to compare.
All I gotta
But
say
if you're
is
looking
that-
for like media stuff, you're not looking
Not
at
to
either
make
one of
this
those.
stretch
You're
out,
looking at something bigger.
the new AMD chips only equal to the i5.
Hmm?
Is that what you just said, Matt?
No,
No,
no.
R5s. R5s are i5 level. Their
No.
single core is still 10% under the i5, but in games they're still basically, like Bone said, basically the same. It won't really matter. But the R5s have the better tasking when it comes to streaming, video working, anything like that actually really needs multi-threading.
Yeah.
So.
You're going up
That's-
to the i7 for that.
Yeah,
It's $100 more. If you're doing series video editing, you're probably going to be getting that.
Actually, the R5 still beats the R5 1600X benchmarks better than the i7 still.
I was seeing. Well, it depended on the benchmarks. There's so many out
Well,
there.
I'm talking about
doing
the
various
multi-threading
things.
part.
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah,
about all the
yeah.
multi-threading. So
But they're in line. The i5 version and the Ryzen 5 are in line with one another. That's the big,
yeah,
the big news, which is awesome. that the middle ground there's some competition.
I'm
how
always
many?
happy.
What's the
Every-
motherboard
everyone's-
selection like right now on Ryzen? I have no idea.
From what I've been watching it, but it's sketchy because motherboard manufacturers didn't have enough time to really get boards out. So I think overall there's over 20 boards.
It's actually a new socket.
It's a new socket.
It's
AM4.
and they said they're gonna be using it for a while. Is what I remember.
AMD always does, so that doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
AMD's one of
feature-
the few companies that if you buy a chip motherboard, it's one of those where you can really update it. Intel's always the ones where it's like, if you're going to upgrade, you're generally going to have to buy a new motherboard.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But as of right now, Asus has, I think, 5 different motherboards ranging from enthusiast level, mainstream to small formed. Ace Rock has, I think, about 5. Gigabyte's about 5. MSI, I think 4.
That's a good selection.
And then there's a brand I never heard of. So there's good like 20 plus motherboards out there. The only
fair.
downfall is the fact that it's a new platform. It's
Mhm.
brand new. Motherboard companies haven't had time to really get a good stable BIOS out. Same with game companies haven't had much time with it. Dota 2 released a patch. Ash of Singularity released a patch, and Warhammer, not 40K, Total War Warhammer released a patch for Ryzen, and they saw increases of 30% in the game. So it is just more. It's not optimized for Ryzen because game companies had more time with Intel, and AMD wasn't really a competitor, really.
So it's a standard issue that we see a lot of this. It's new tech, it's drivers.
Yeah. So you can hate on it's like, oh, they're not gaming to what they're supposed to be. They're getting over 60 frames per second on ultra quality on 1080p. Most monitors don't even have. Most people that game with a 1080p monitor don't have refresh rates over 60.
It's either way. It's when you go back into that though, people are stupid.
Yeah.
I don't. What I mean.
Tell me more
by,
about this.
What I mean by that is I don't mean that. Well, people are stupid. What I mean by that is people look at raw numbers and don't realize that what the raw numbers mean.
Right.
All right. It's if you have somebody that does a fucking test and that the little fucking counter on the top of their screen says 144 frames a second and it's standard. They go, oh look, I'm doing 144 frames. They have no concept to think that their monitor can only refresh at 60, so they're getting a 60 frame rate. They have no concept of that in those cases.
Yep.
I was completely ignorant to that until I really started looking into getting higher quality monitors. And then it was one of those things that's like, it doesn't really matter if you are 100 frames per second and running, really high graphics and everything like that. Your monitor is going to be what bottle caps you or what bottlenecks you.
Yep.
So that's just it. So they may not realize that they might not realize their system or can get that out of there, but they have no concept that what they're looking at in those cases. So
I mean, well, you do want to go if you can. You want to go a little over what your monitor can do. But
I
yeah.
will be building a Ryzen system in the coming months, so I will be posting a separate video for that.
Sweet.
So and it will be a fresh because a lot of people have been saying build it fresh, don't have a already set Windows because of driver issues. So. But I will be going that route. So definitely look tuned in the coming months.